Hi guys, hope you guys are good. Um, so I just want to run you guys through a EURGBP analysis. I posted an idea a few minutes ago. This idea right here, uh, where I'm just, looking into a potential draw or potential sell idea when it comes to EURGBP. The reason for me having to trade EURGBP is this: I usually trade. My main pair is GBP USD, but you'll see at the moment we're currently consolidating. We're stuck between that high and that low. Although the objective is bearish, we may continue higher to take those buy stops, then continue lower. And the other idea, the reason why I'm on the exotic Euro GBP is because DXY is consolidating as well. When DXY consolidates, the exotics tend to be very volatile. All right. So then again, here the anticipation is higher, but because of the fact that it's consolidating, um, I'm interested in trading exotic pairs. Although I do see a draw lower to take these sell stops on DXY, then continue higher. At the moment, it's not very, you know, very informative in terms of what exactly it wants to do. But given the fact that it is consolidating, I'd like to then focus my attention on an exotic such as EURGBP. With that being said, let's just run through, the daily time frame. All right, we'll see if we'll need the weekly for confluence and whatnot, but let's just see what the daily time frame has been doing. We can see that the daily time frame has been bullish. Right, we continued bullish, gave us a break of structure there. This was a change in character suggesting that the market may change its direction, its bullish trend into a bearish trend. This was that confirmation that it's now bearish, right? And then we continued lower as well. So these were the breaker structures. So we can see that your GBP has been bearish, right? Until this point over here, where we start to see again a market structure shift, right? Which, although we haven't gotten a candle break over that high, we have wicked, giving us an idea that we may start to see or get that change in character. This is essentially a market structure shift, um, giving us the idea that we may want to now see bullish price action, right? So, with that being said, it is very important to understand that the market moves from external liquidity to the internal liquidity. This is what I mean by that. This low over here is regarded as external liquidity, right? So the moment we break through it, we take all of the liquidity behind this low, right? Or below this low. After that, the draw is internal liquidity, being all these fair value gaps, right? And the order blocks. That's regarded as internal liquidity. After that is fulfilled, the market goes to external, right? And then you take internal, take that high over there, then external again, and then continues higher, takes that point over there. So now the question is, what is the next draw? So let's just get an understanding of what the market has been doing in terms of draws. So we've taken this low over here, right? And it regarded it as daily sell stops. We continue higher, we take those buy stops over there. Market continues lower, we take sell stops, right? Daily sell stops there. The market then draws higher as to take daily buy stops. So that's our change in character or market strategy shift. But that point as well is regarded as buy stops, right? So after we take these buy stops, the draw is then from external to internal. So what happens is you can see that this is a fair value gap, small one, right? There's a difference between that. This candle's high and that candle's low, small fair value gap over there. So that's our internal liquidity being a daily fair value gap. And one thing we see is that this fair value gap was filled, right? And then from there, the draw is then higher, right? And then we see that we fill this fair value gap. So you'll start to see that we're following draw, and this fair value gap was also filled. From filling this fair value gap, the idea would then have to be we draw lower, right? As to target external or internal liquidity, in which we see that we have this external liquidity down here, being the daily sell stops. So at the moment, by just following draw, following external, internal liquidity, we understand that on the daily time frame, there's a likelihood of having to take these sell stops out first, right? Before looking at an idea that is bullish. But now looking at a higher time frame perspective on where would you want to target, all right, in terms of a daily time frame after taking these lows. I'm not suggesting that you should swing this. I'm just giving you guys a higher time frame narrative. I've been seeing these relatively equal highs over here, and that exists as powerful liquidity, all right? Strong liquidity. And if we're looking at the weekly time frame, just looking at this high over here, that swing high and the swing low, if we draw our fib, we can see that premium prices exist over here. We have a premium PDRA being this fair value gap over here. All right. So already the daily time frame gave us a market structure shift. We also see it now on the weekly. That is a market structure shift over there. Because this swing high, all right, price made a swing high, swing low, and then that swing high was taken out. So that's a market structure shift indicating that we may now start to see the lower time frames continue higher. So the draw on the higher time frame would be this point. We're just looking at draws, right? And the good thing about that point, that specific point, is that we start to see that it's aligned with these relatively equal highs. I'm just going to delete that, with these relatively equal highs being that strong liquidity point that I had suggested has, large amounts of liquidity. So we would want to see price eventually get to that point, right? But that's just a higher time frame objective, right? The important thing is then to look into the smaller time frames, right? 4 hour, 1 hour going. Let me just fix this, going into the smaller time frames to see what exactly needs to play out first and confirm, you know, the ideas, right, in a systematic way where every time frame aligns with your idea, you know, time frame correlations basically. By the way, we can also see, because I'm seeing this lower here, we can also see that the market on the daily time frame took this low as well. All right, let's just clear that up. We'll see it properly on the 4 minute. We took that low as well and filled that daily fair value gap there. And then the draw is higher, and at the moment we have filled this daily fair value gap, in which on the daily time frame we would then want to see price draw lower to take sell stops. Then we continue higher to reach that higher time frame objective. But on the H4 time frame, if we're just looking at price, we can see that this is a low, right? Strong low, that's a high, right? If we draw our fib from this low to that high, we start to see that discount, there's a discount PDRA over here, being this 4 hour fair value gap. Right? And if we want to buy into premium prices, it's preferably we would want to buy in discount prices, being this point over here, discount PDRAs. Right? You don't want to be a buyer in premium, you want to be a buyer in discount. You want to be seller in premium and a buyer in discount. So if we're going to be looking for a move lower, we're already in premium prices, so we'd want to be sellers into discount and then buyers in discount into premium, right? So, like I said, we take these sell stops, continue lower to fill this fair value gap. So we can see on the 4-hour time frame, what happened first is we filled this fair value gap here. Not a fair value gap, this order block. So we fill this not the fair value gap, but the order block. Let me just move this to the other side. Things are starting to be a bit clustered, right? So we fill this. Let me just make this a dotted line so as to make things a bit clear. We take sell stops, we fill the daily fair value gap, we reach into the 4-hour order block. The draw is then higher, in which we fill the daily fair value gap. But now we start to see that we also have this H4 order block, right? That exists in premium. Like I said, the draw is lower. And if we want to be sellers, we need to be selling off premium PD arrays, preferably fair value gap. We see the H4 fair value gap is filled, daily fair value gap is filled, and we have this H4 premium order block, in which if we want to be sellers, you sell off of that into discount, right? But now the question is, what other confluence do we have? We start to see that we have this much of a liquidity void. Liquidity void suggests that at this point, you'll see this strong bearish candle. Only sell side delivery was delivered at this point. So there's a bit of an inefficiency there. Hence, the market will always draw to points where there's inefficiencies, being liquidity voids, fair value gaps, etc. You'll see this is also strong inefficiency where you only delivered bullish for this strong movement to the upside. The market will come back there and fill this liquidity void, right? And then that's the same thing we're looking at here. We're seeing this liquidity void. So it's very important that this liquidity void gets filled before looking into selling. We can see that as well. We're also consolidating at this point. So we're accumulating strong, liquidity on that high, in which during London session and New York, I'd want to see price, preferably during London, reach into that point, make the high of the day, and reach into this point, set the high of the day, and then continue price lower as to draw to these sell stops. So at the moment, we have two draws in liquidity being this point. So we have this draw, now draw in liquidity, and you can also target the discount fair value gap. H4 discount fair value gap. That will be, liquidity void. That will be, of course, up to, your confluences and if they align for that idea, right? But of course, when the market tips into the order block, if it does, go into your smaller time frames, wait for those confirmations, wait for London session, make sure that you're working with time frame alignment and look to take your sell over there, provided that it confirms that idea, and then look to short. I'm not going to go into how you're going to be taking profits and stuff like that. I assume that you have that unlocked. And then only when we're in discount, if price follows this idea, only when we're in discount can we then look for a bullish idea as to target these relatively equal highs and as to target those relatively equal highs over there and the weekly fair value gap, which is the high time frame draw perspective. All right. But I think that's it for now. If I have any updates, I will update you guys in this video's update section. But with that being said, hope you guys have a good trading day. Yeah, kind regards, the architect.